Intro. Welcome to Tough Love episode number 11.
Number 11? It's 11.
Yeah, or 12. I'm not sure.
No, it's 11.
It's 11, yeah, it's 11.
10 was Extremo.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's supposed to be a chilly garden ambience, and I'm not finding my chilly,
Your childhood.
But it's chilly, chilly. Are you chilled?
I'm super chilled. End of summer.
End of summer, yeah. It's always a thing in Berlin. You know, expats that come here and they're like, Berlin is so beautiful, but only in the summer. If you love Berlin, you like it, and it's ugly days, actually.
I don't know.
Says
I mean, I
says
would,
the
as a
Berliner.
local, I would leave
You would leave
from January till April.
from January till April. Oh, okay.
For solid 3 months. These are ass,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
the rest is pretty cool.
I like Berlin in all its seasons, but I do think that it's nice to have the freedom to choose your weather. So yeah, maybe next time when the weather gets shitty, we escape. We escape to a different place than a bunker.
Where could we escape to?
Maybe LA.
What a transition.
We have a special guest.
Oh,
Straight from
California.
from Compton.
Not quite.
Bumpton.
Bumpton.
Yeah.
Bumpton is
It's
the
a blood
little.
way to say Compton. 'cause
Okay, I
they
thought
don't
Bumpton
do
is the
Cs.
little niche in Berghain where you can
Yeah, also, yeah. Behind the
bump
dark
down.
room.
Nice. So, Alex, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Alex, I saved you on my phone like Alex Realize.
Alex Realize?
Yeah, it's his stage name, like
Ah.
DJ name, artist name.
Alex Realize or just
Realize,
Realize?
just Realize.
Realize.
Yeah, which is a good name.
Thanks. Yeah.
Which is something that I would wish to most of the people in the scene to just realize some shit. You know, they gotta realize.
So already started with
Ellen
some tough
Alien,
love.
you should realize that I don't like you. It's a running gag about Ellen. I've realized a lot of stuff. I mean, we'll come back to you in a second.
But let's talk about me
let's
first,
talk about
okay?
me first because it's all about me. No, I'm just kidding, man. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, this is a nice way to like wind down my stay here. I take off in like a few days, and yeah, like a really cool, spontaneous thing that we were able to set up. I did have in mind to kind of reach out and.
Which is funny. I'll tell you why in a second.
We ended up meeting before I could, hit
Exactly.
send. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny because like Mark and I, we noticed your content. I would say almost a half a year ago, even. And Mark was like, "We got to talk to him. There's a way that we can connect there and talk about the differences or the similarities between our cities." And yeah, we were like, "Someday we're gonna maybe we come over. You come over, and then I see you in Panorama Bar."
Yeah.
And
Last weekend, right?
that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, okay.
And then of course we approached each other and exchanged a little bit, but then next week again, like a week later, we see each other again, Berghain Pano.
And this weekend maybe again.
This weekend we might hit the trio.
I mean, what else? Where else?
To be honest, you know my opinion. I don't think there's a if you like if you like electronic music and if you value the rave, there is probably not a better place to. There's not a better place to be in Berlin than in the Hain. Simply because of the fact, and you talked about it actually about your in one of your recent videos I watched. You said you tried to explain what makes this place so special, and it's the length of the performances. It's the seriousness that the artists are being treated with, and the freedom that they have to express themselves. And like, for me, it's more or less the same. It's the seriousness of the institution that actually cherishes and values music, and gives you the ultimate raving experience with many factors that they have invested in, starting with the architecture and ending with with just the quality of sound and the pictures that you get there, and as you said, the architecture and the interior design, like all the details there are like for you to rave with. So I yeah, we say there's an old Russian saying, you can't change the place of meeting. So it's like a classic. Место встречи изменить нельзя.
Never heard of
Okay,
it.
you're not familiar with post-Soviet culture. It's
I'm
a
sorry.
it's a citation. It's a citation from an old movie where they kind of meet at the same place, same time. So it's
Okay.
kind of like the saying same place, same time.
Yeah, okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny that this place was our where we aligned, place where we aligned.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And how did you enjoy your Berghains so far? You've been twice since you came now.
Yeah, the first weekend was kind of a wash. Took me like the third attempt to get in, and then by the time I got in, I was drained. Like, I'm hearing music and it's really great, but my body's saying like it's time to go.
Okay.
And
okay.
I've been in that position long enough to know like, don't drag it out. Just call it quits early. And then second weekend got in on the first try, and really ideal. Like being there when it's really early and clean and empty, and getting to just kind of be in that quiet space, and then coming back right before the closing and witnessing a pretty like epic closing set. So
Amazing. Yeah.
I realized this weekend that I like it when it's fucked up. I like to come at 6 p.m. Sunday, and when you just hear the glass bottles are flying and clinking, and everything is falling, and everybody's like tripping bugs. I love
Yeah.
it.
There's a certain magic to the
Yeah.
dirtiness of
yeah,
the rave. You know, you want a perfect space that is actually solid, built well, and has the best conditions. But there is definitely the aspect of dirt you want to have there. I don't know why, but 3 weeks ago I went to Berghain with flip flops, and I regretted it. When I went out, my feet were so dark, and I was like I was like afraid for a week that I got all the feet diseases there are.
Some fungus,
Some in the best case scenario.
some herpes, toe herpes. Or something.
Yeah. I forgot what I wanted to say. So
yeah, that's
yes, yeah.
that's a wild bucket list item to go into. Yeah, a club
I mean,
like that.
Isa told that she was like barefooted there, right?
Yeah, our friend Isa said to us that she had a moment where she was barefoot. She was barefooting Berghain.
She's raw dogging Berghain
Raw
with no
dogging
shoes,
Berghain.
no
Raw
shoes,
dogging
no
her feet,
substances.
I don't know. I guess I had this. So a friend of mine told me a couple of years ago that he went to Berghain with Birkenstocks, and I thought I might want to checklist that. So
Yeah.
that was probably what made me go there with flip flops. But again, I regret it, especially the moments where you want to go to the toilet for the obvious reasons or for the not obvious reasons. You just want to take a pee, and you feel like you're on the tip of your toes just trying to enter.
Because at some point there's like a solid film of urine there,
Oh yeah,
covering the floor.
Yeah, there's
And if
a
you're in
layer.
shoes, you don't give a fuck. But if you're like in open shoes, it's like
There's a layer.
some
it's layering,
flip-flops.
Yeah. I wanted to say that we always like to because we're here and it's around the corner. We experiment with like going there and different times. You want to see the place in different times. You want to go for the opening. You want to go for the closing. You want to go in the middle just to spice things up. I had this conversation with a friend like 2 days ago because he said, "Oh, openings are shitty. Why you going?" I don't agree. I think that there's a certain magic when you come to a club and it's completely empty and you see it filling up. Standing next to the light engineer and just watching the magic starting to build up, and people are so fresh and hungry, And there's also a certain magic to come to the closing or close to the closing where you see the dead people walking. And
I mean, the build-up takes very long. I mean, we've been there
Yes.
from the beginning, and it took solid 10 hours where I felt the magic is where I wanted to be. But at that
You
point,
needed
I was
10
already
hours.
exhausted.
You need 10 hours to open up, yeah? Okay, wow.
I mean the crowd. I mean the
crowd,
vibes.
yeah.
I mean from the vibes there.
Yeah,
After
definitely.
10 hours, I was already too exhausted to stay there. But there I understood actually that's the vibe that I would enjoy the most. But yeah,
Yeah.
Empty
Yeah.
Club is also nice because the opening set was pretty nice.
Yeah, it
It's
was
also
amazing.
nice to have some space to dance and
Yeah.
stuff.
Last time when we went for the opening, Ryan Elliott was playing, and it was very special because you have a master of house actually playing a techno floor and building up with a lot of positivity, but also with a lot of knowledge about techno, just something else, and people feel that something else, and they're curious, and this curiosity with freshness, and it was a good mix. But yeah, this time it was a long build up.
Yeah,
Sometimes really the magic happens really on the second day where everybody's second breath or second soul kind of opens up, and you have a wave of fresh people coming into the club, and this mix. Sometimes I have very nice memories of that second day, but not from Berghain, more from Ukraine. And you go home, you don't even sleep. You just wash yourself, change clothes, change your mindset, kind of sort of say, and you come in and you're like, okay, it's a different club now.
yes, 100%.
So yeah, any favorites you had? Any nice moments you had over the last 2 weeks there, like specific sets or like specific sounds that
Yeah.
inspired you?
I really liked the first weekend was Andre Gayuzi playing upstairs.
Andre Galuzzi.
Galuzzi.
Yes.
And
An
I
OG.
had heard of the name. I was like, oh, like he's one of the ones that if you want like a proper like seasoned person to check out, go. That was the one where my energy levels just weren't matching my excitement for it, and probably stayed for like 2 3 hours. And I was like, yeah, this is.
He
This is
resurrected you.
yeah.
Nice.
And then I really enjoyed Rodhat's closing set last weekend.
Last
And that's
weekend,
something
yeah.
that we missed.
We missed it. We missed
Yeah.
Lux Later and Rodhead playing after each other, and in Berghain for the closing. So yeah, you said it was fully packed and
Yeah, like
magical.
at the end of fully packed till the end. Like I've usually when I've been there at the end of the closing, it's been like I don't know 25 to 50% like full on the dance floor, but
Yeah,
it was like 90-ish% full, and
yeah.
uh,
I'm struggling at those moments. It's fun. I like the warmth and the. It's exciting, but sometimes you just need air. So yeah.
as a visitor, I'm like, I'm gonna get right into the center of the dance floor and just uh, join everyone else. But I could, that's not something I could do every weekend. It would just be too exhausting to.
Yeah.
Especially me as someone who, I get slightly claustrophobic. So like if for example, like there's really no room to dance and then people bump me. If it's one bump, two bumps, it's fine. But if it's the same person bumping me multiple times, like it starts to get on my nerves, and I don't like to move from my spot. But you got to pick, like something's got to give. So then
Yeah.
go a few steps the other way and hope that it's a better energy over there.
Yeah, I think most of the time the Berghain crowd is more or less like if I compare it to other places in Berlin, is very aware. Most of the time, people don't bump into me too much. In other clubs, sometimes you come in and you feel like you are standing in the hallway and everybody has to go through your position. That happens to me a lot in other clubs. I'm also not that small, so I kind of feel it. But in Berghain, the people are sensitive enough and kind of, are aware of their space or aware of your space. So
Sometimes they touch you gently.
sometimes, sometimes they enter your space on purpose, yeah, with no consent. Yeah, I want to come back to two things that I wanted to talk with you about. You kind of mentioned it briefly. So you said last week or the week before, you came in from third attempt, and I want to use this chance to maybe say to some people that are newbies or younger and or are afraid to go to Berghain because of the no. There's nothing wrong in trying again. And sometimes if you try again, you show that you really want. And for the door, they are also human and they will let you in. I've been through it. You've been through it. I mean, at the end, we're just cis white males. So we're not going through the selection straight away, and we're not matching the classic filter of a queer space.
Yeah.
Might be. And at the end, if you just try and you really want to go there, and if you really are there for, I don't want to say right reasons, but you're there for the music and the dance, you're gonna come in.
But
So
I also think you need to kind of learn it. Or for me, Berlin is like a video game where you need to level up. You need to first go through other clubs maybe, and then you can join to Berghain.
Yeah,
Maybe do Sisyphus first, you know, Kata Blau and all these other
definitely.
stations, and then you can rock with Berghain and
Yeah, we
not
already
straight
mentioned.
away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we already mentioned that Berghain is like the final boss of clubbing and
Yeah.
blah blah, and you should be like kind of at least ready for what you're gonna experience there, because if not, you're just not gonna have the fun that you could have if you're not ready for this. I heard some people that went in and went out because it was like overwhelming for them.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, if you try out in a little bit like softer clubs before, it might get you ready and also might get your vibe and your like facial expression ready when you're at the door and you just want to come in and not afraid of being rejected because whatever. um, I still I'm still completely sure that there is no outfit for Berghain. There is no right preparation for Berghain. I mean, there is a framework that you can try and match yourself to, and you might get in through that kind of. If they see, okay, you look like a TikTok raver from the scene, so you might come in. But it's actually more about your vibe. Maybe another small tip: it's probably more about your shoes. If you have comfortable shoes, then
Shoes and socks.
and socks. I mean, if your shoes don't look that comfortable and they're not part of an extravagant outfit, then you're probably not gonna have fun inside. So that will be a good maybe thing to
But you
follow
went
up
there
there.
with flip-flops, so how will you explain that?
Maybe because I looked so comfortable with them that they didn't doubt that I'm not gonna have fun there.
I think by the time now they know you just at the door.
Yeah, I mean,
So
but I mean, I think that's the only parameter they're looking for. They're searching to see if you are going to have fun there, and if you are not going to disturb other people having fun there or other people's fun. So I think that's the only parameter of sensibility that doormen of clubs like that develop with time. Yeah, we also kind of heard one or two commentaries that they do when they kind of make a decision, and it's really about you not being disturbing or interfering with other people's fun or with other people's safety at the end.
Yeah.
I think that's the major factor. That's why it's also pretty important to have a person at the door that is probably queer or part of it or has been part of it for a long time, that works like a like lakmus paper and is kind of sensitive to people's danger zone. So that was the first thing I wanted to refer to. But the bigger thing is, you said, or we said, the vibe is sometimes building up after only a long time, and sometimes there's a magic in the beginning or at the end. This is a privilege that we have in Berlin, and 90% of the other cities in the world that kind of have clubs and have scenes and have an underground culture actually don't have. They don't have parties that go for 72 hours. They don't have just this possibility of just going to a rave wherever you want. It's Tuesday, yeah. There's this and this and this. You just in Berlin, you open up Resident Advisor and other platforms, and you can do anything on any day. So how is it? How is it for you in LA? Because it's a complete contrast, right?
Yeah, in LA, um, parties start maybe 10, 11 p.m. On average, the latest they go is until 6 a.m., like 7 if you're lucky. There's a couple parties that are going as late as 10 or 11 a.m., but uh, I've spoken to one of the organizers, and they've said they don't even advertise that they're going that late. They kind of have to just say, we're going till 7, and then if there's enough people, they'll do like an open-ended party, just because if you say it's going till 11 a.m., like it might like put people off or something like
Yeah.
that.
Legally, you're able to rent a location for like 24 hours, but there's no alcohol sales after 2 a.m.
Well, the, these parties, like the more proper ones,
Or illegal.
are illegal,
Cool.
and you can sell alcohol like all night.
Okay, of course. If it's illegal, it doesn't matter anymore what you do there.
If it's legal, yeah, until 2. But then there's all. I mean, yeah, we don't really have any proper spaces for techno parties. It's like clubs, and if you try and throw a party there, there's gonna be. It's not gonna make sense financially because the
Yeah.
club's gonna take like the bar and.
Yeah, which is the same situation in Berlin. Right now, promoters don't get anything from the bar. I mean, some of them might have special deals, but the rule is nowadays in Berlin, the promoter comes rents the club, pays everything,
Hmm.
and the club takes the bar. And if the bar doesn't reach a certain minimum,
Yeah.
the promoter should pay for that as well. So the whole situation in Berlin, like the whole relationship between promoters and clubs, turned, especially after Corona, probably because I know about other promoters that worked before Corona and had like beautiful deals where they have like a share of everything. The whole this whole relationship between promoters and clubs, and we know it from our personal experience, is really fucked up. The clubs in Berlin decided they want to give away a maximum of their risk and just give away the creative work and the financial risk to others that are just interested in having a space,
Uh huh.
because there are no spaces, so to say. There are actually a lot of spaces, which is also probably the situation in LA, because I'm sure that in such a big town with so many probably industrial zones, I think it's not a problem to find a hangar or like to find just a empty space of like, I don't know, 1,000 square feet or something like that, you know. So I don't really know where the difficulty is, probably in licensing or whatever, but it's very challenging for people that you probably know some of the people that create raves or like events like that. Is it like a huge challenge for them? Like, are they super afraid of the law, or do they have like,
I think once you've done it enough and uh, it's familiar to you, you create a process where, for example, you try not to use a certain venue for like half the year because it starts to attract attention.
yeah,
And so you're just looking for newer venues to um, keep the party uh, safe from the
yeah?
law, I guess.
And it's also kind of exciting probably for the ravers.
You're on
That
the run.
you're on the run. Every
Run.
time new space, and everybody
Yeah.
know that everybody doesn't know what to expect, and so
Yeah,
on.
I
It's
think
cool.
I took it for granted because that's kind of that's what I was used to from the start. Is
Yeah,
it's just these are illegal venues. It wasn't until I started to do like uh, yeah, travel to go to experience different scenes where I was like, well, you know what? I've been to so many parties in different countries. Like, it's so rare to go to one where it's illegal and we're not really supposed to be here. And so
yeah.
it took like yeah this long journey to appreciate this unique element that the LA scene.
It's really cool because the legal party that I've been,
Yeah.
they were the coolest. The penthouse thing,
Yeah,
not
so
the best music, not the best sound quality, but
it
the
didn't
vibe was
matter.
definitely
The music
there.
was good. The artists were giving it hard, you know, they were giving everything. So basically, what we're referring to is
Yeah.
the lockdown time in Berlin. Before that, everything was allowed, everything was open, and Berlin was kind of reaching an equilibrium, probably like a plateau more, you know, of nightlife, where it became really like obvious that you have all these spaces. And then when lockdown came, everything was closed, and you started like really searching for any kind of human interaction. And you had those illegal raves. They started in the park, and when the weather went bad, they went into smaller spaces, um, and you could really feel that kind of magic that we haven't felt, because I mean we're kind of young,
Uh,
and we haven't experienced Berlin in the 90s, and we kind of imagined and also heard it from other people that did experience Berlin in early days, that it was very similar. This kind of escaping the law. We had these like apartment parties where we got kicked out of the apartment, like no shirts, and policemen like writing our like personal details and stuff like that.
No
And
shirts? Why no shirt?
I had no shirt.
Okay.
Why don't? I mean,
Good party.
everyone has their own outfit.
Okay.
You know? I have my birthday suit, and it really kind of gave us the vibe that, wow, this is the rave, this is the meaning of rave, you know, to go against the system, to search for human interaction, and to gather secretly and just connect on that kind of level. And of course, when Corona was over and the clubs came back, there was another layer of this magic, because everybody were like shocked that we are even allowed to party again. And then we reached the plateau again, where people started over consuming and the spaces became obvious again, and so on and so on. So I think it's very special what you have in the U.S., maybe specifically in L.A., where you don't have a lot of spaces, and if you do have a real rave, it's illegal, and people feel like that they're sharing a secret, or that they're going against the system. I mean, the rave scene and techno scene in Berlin are based on the punk and the anarchistic movement, and I don't think there's a lot of it anymore like left, except for visual elements like the black and the chains and the tats and
And the leftism.
and the leftism, said the rightist.
They try to rob you, but they're saying that they're left wing,
Try to rob you or what?
No, as you said with the clubs, they're taking horrific fees.
Yeah.
Don't want to share the bar.
Yeah.
Let you pay everything. That's pretty
Yeah.
right wing, but at the end they say they're socialists or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what they say. I don't think they have any ideology left anymore.
That's also the fun part about Berghain. The drinks are pretty cheap,
Yeah, still, I must say, gastronomically, Berghain is still very very much for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
more
mean,
or less.
like a water €1.50 is kind of.
Yeah. When you hear about Ibiza prices and you have like 50 to 100 euros entry, and then you have like $10 for a bottle of water and like $40 for.
I mean, even
euros for a
here in other
cocktail.
clubs, the Coke
mean, in
costs
mainstream,
€5
yeah.
or something. Like
Yeah.
Coca-Cola costs €5.
Yeah.
It's like pretty expensive in the Berghain. It's 250 or something. So it's pretty affordable. You don't need to spend much money there on alcohol or drinks.
Yeah. Techno and hard techno probably already infiltrated the mainstream clubs in the US, right? I mean, you would have some mainstream events in mainstream clubs with.
It's more the hard techno than
Yeah,
the proper techno, but
Yeah.
Like mainstream clubs in LA, like pool party
Pool
clubs.
party, why pool party?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
pool
I just
party.
I imagine like pool party
Pool
clubs
party
on the skyscraper playing hard techno.
No, probably.
Is it New York or?
Huh?
Yeah.
I know they have
Yeah.
some downtown stuff there,
Probably.
right? LA, so.
So yeah.
And like the downtown clubs, and this is whenever they have like hard techno on the lineup, that's more common than seeing like we're not gonna have Luke Slater in the club in LA.
No,
Yeah.
of course not.
But
Yeah,
he'll play a
unfortunately.
warehouse, and so you kind of know what crowd you're going to be among when you go to
Yeah,
each party, because each
like Sarah Landry crowd
Right.
and Dira Paganoto crowd,
Yeah.
kind of. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a trend. It's a trend. I mean, it's probably not that bad for the rest of the world of electronic music to have these people kind of playing the big gigs for the simple minds, I would say. You probably have like also acts like Anima coming, like Tale of Us playing in LA or something
Right.
like that. I don't even know what to think anymore of that genre of techno. Not that anybody needs my opinion on that, but
What is the genre? Like melodic techno? What is it?
yeah, you would call it melodic techno.
I like melodic techno.
Yeah, but when you say melodic techno, it's such a wide palette of music, and you could have like really techno with melodies, and it will be amazing. And you could have melodic techno that plays on Mykonos and Tulum, and it will just sound like a soundtrack of an action movie, like a Transformers movie.
But
You know what
doesn't
I mean?
these places look like a movie? Because
You-
they're so holiday-esque, beautiful. It's not the
Okay.
fucked up Berlin hinterm Bahnhof
Okay,
thing.
so your logic is because that place looks like a fake scenery, let's play fake scenery music.
I mean, it's a match or not?
It's a match.
I'm just saying it's
It's
a
a
match.
match, yeah.
So
Try to think. Okay, question. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Why don't big artists use that popularity and that huge stage and these people that pay $10,000s of dollars just to come there to show them something that is actually cool and good, instead of trying to sell them and resell them the sequel, the prequel of the same movie? Because for me, the drops sound the same and the instruments are like pretty much the same all the time. And again, it's all kind of made to give you a sort of excitement, but it's not about making you dance. It's not about helping you connect with the other people in the crowd. It's for your phone and for your goosebumps.
Yeah, but
what I
you don't have to feed pigs with caviar.
Oh,
I mean, like you can. Maybe that's the reason. I'm just saying.
people of Tulum, you've heard.
I mean, if they're enjoying it, what's the problem?
the problem for me is
Why you need
that
to do it better if it's already good enough for them? You
yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm not trying to be a purist. I don't think that that you have to serve like fine dining dishes to people that enjoy McDonald's. But at the end, they're paying a lot of money for that. And what makes me actually sad is that a lot of these people that go to these places actually also listen to some good music, and they do visit other nice clubs, because you have a lot of people going to Berghain and a lot of people, same people, going to Ibiza and maybe Mykonos if they're like really adventurous. And at the end, they're just there. They're consuming and disassociating and kind of having fun. But I think the part of the art, the part of the production, is kind of disrespecting their intelligence. You know, the consumer will consume. The people, the crowd will either way buy the product, you know. And I think it was Steve Jobs or somebody at Apple that said that they don't really care about the consumer's opinion, because the consumer does not develop the next product. The consumer does not know what's good and what's bad. They will enjoy it anyway, especially with a nice portion of MDMA, you know. So they will enjoy. They will enjoy because it's made to make them enjoy. And I think the artists and the producers are just missing a point here, using such a big stage, and instead of like enriching the people with goodness, just giving them something recycled and like boring. And again, I'm not trying to be a purist. I'm talking from my point of view, and yeah, I think there's a point missed there.
I mean, for that, the artist need to have a vision what he wants to change, and you know,
Yeah.
in the scene this big, if there is like a party, they're playing like maybe 10 DJs or 5 DJs, you know,
Yeah.
every weekend it's 30 or something. It's a lot of people involved into like the shaping of the taste of the audience.
Yeah.
Is it Ibiza or Berlin, whatever,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and you can't like, you know, convince the majority of them to, you know, shape the taste to what you think is good or what others think is bad or whatever, you know. They just
Well,
do
I
their
think
thing, you know.
at that level, like it's gonna be more of an entertainment party because it's on the surface, and you
Yeah.
Yeah.
can't attract the huge crowd that wants to be educated instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that at that scale, like artists are probably not gonna take those risks.
Yeah. Artists
When
are not taking risks.
with yeah with when like there's so much money and yeah, so much of their brand is on the line. But I also see, in my opinion, some DJs fall into that same trap if they're playing, you know, let's say clubs like Berghain, where
Yeah.
you have a crowd that is kind of just at the edge of their seat. Give us something that
Yes.
we don't know we need. I've seen DJs play sets where it's like you had that platform and that's really what you played. You know, it's just yeah, going being safe for whatever reason, and we don't know what they're thinking on because we're not in their shoes. But um, I think as consumers, we still get to criticize or
Of
analyze
course.
what kind of yeah we went all this way and this is kind of the experience that we got.
There you go. I would take the same logic, and with that kind of mindset, I would judge a performance in Tulum. Why not judge an artist or their art and through the same eyes of a Berghain raver when they're performing in Tulum? Is there less consumption there? Is there less investment there in the way to come there and to wait and to be hungry and eager to hear what they're sharing as sound? I just think, for me, the philosophical question here is it right for an artist to create something that would probably please, or should it be something that really communicates their vision and really kind of uses their medium to express their art at the end, you know? Because I saw like a couple of videos of like Tale of Us, where they were like a little bit younger, only up and coming, you know, and they lived in Berlin for a while, from what I understood, and they were playing like serious music, I would say. And they probably realized with time that you could actually do a shortcut and create something that speaks to a very broad audience.
Uh-huh.
And they saw that this scheme is working, and that's why they probably pushed it harder, and then probably a label got aware of them and pushed them further, and so on and so on. And then you come to that big stage, and you're like probably trapped in the, maybe in your contract with the label, or you're, like we heard from Luca, you know, you're expected to do something, but you actually have the power to do anything you want, So for me, it's really a question of what are you doing this for, and are you ready to give up on your like artistic vision just in order for people to like what you're doing. We can see it on social media as well. We sometimes create something that we really love, and it doesn't get the reach that we have expected, and then we're like, the automatic first reaction is, okay, let's come back to the viral format, and let's try to rinse and repeat that, in order to get more reach.
And it works. Still,
Not always.
Not always, but still it works. Like on a majority of times.
I can tell you what works for 100%. It works if you are so aligned with your creation and you create something that is built on your knowledge of what goes viral, and you create something that comes from within. That means the choice of music, the choice of a dance or setting, and you actually are so into it while doing it. You're like so in the moment, and this is like this trio or like this mix of factors. Till now, for us, it always worked. When we were in the moment and it was built upon our like experience of what would work, today when we watch a frame or when we create something, the knowledge is already in us. We already know this is less likable, this is more likable, but it's not the main factor for me when we're creating. But when we're creating something that we think should be liked and is probably based on maybe a sound that is popular, but not definitely a sound that we would listen to, it always flops, So I'd rather create a product where we're super happy with and didn't reach our like expectations, our metrical expectations, than to create something that is only driven by this goal and has nothing to do with our artistic kind of vision. Yeah, because till today, I still haven't got one proof that working like that, working only on parameters and working on like creating something to be viral, I didn't get a proof that works, and I also felt like very uncomfortable with that all the time.
Yeah, of course. 'Cause even if it works, let's say once, I mean, how sustainable will it be for you to put on an act every time you want to put something out there into the world?
Yeah. You want to add something?
I don't know. I basically know a person that just like did viral videos like conceptually and got something out of it. It's not so huge, but Rebel Whore.
Yeah.
She always did like something like orientated to the masses, something provocative, and
it's a friend of ours. She's a content creator.
Yeah, she become like a model,
But can I say something about her? First of all, I think that so this girl
it's a bit off topic, but
this girl always said to us, I figured out how everything works. I can always create a viral thing. She was always banned from TikTok, always creating a new account and reaching like 100,000 followers very fast. She really figured it out. But I can add to it, from her point of view, she thinks she figured it out, but from the outer point of view, or like from the Mako, she is a viral persona.
Yeah.
When she walks into the like the subway here, everybody looks at her, like this whole thing. She doesn't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that she's so authentic about herself and so explicit is actually what's making her viral again and again.
Yeah.
So,
but it was created with the strategy, with
an intention.
Right? With intention, yeah.
But I think that the selling point is her.
Yeah, sure.
The selling point is her. And when we try to create something that would be only like popular, I didn't feel like it was portraying me, like it's personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So I think if we do something that is authentic, of course we can do something provocative, edgy, and talk about, like if we talk about etiquette or Berghain, and we know it's an edgy kind of conversation. Yeah, we kind of use that point of view, that angle a couple of times and on different channels, and so it will be always a hot topic. So this I don't have a problem with. As long as what we're communicating is just authentic to our like personal view. And so coming back to music, I just think that in cases like Tale of Us, I'm not sure that it really reflects their musical vision. If that's their musical vision, then okay, then they're very cool, like maybe filmmaking soundtrack makers. You know,
Okay.
like
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I think that their vision of sound is just very filmy, dramatic kind of. But if you take a different example, like Daft Punk, which also came from the techno scene, the underground, and so on, and took this knowledge and took this experience to a, I would say, a brighter and a broader stage. I think what they did would always be legendary because, first of all, it's good music. It's still very danceable. It it kind of connects to many people's on different layers of understanding of music. It respected the past of music because they really took a lot from the disco and the funk, and so it's a rich product. And I feel like with again, compared to Tale of Us, I think it's a product of a, it's a fat production, probably produced in very rich like circumstance, like with amazing devices and with the knowledge of music. But I don't think it respects the listener. I don't think it respects music in general. I don't see a lot of music. I see effects. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, that's something that I've just been thinking about for the, I don't know, probably the last several months, because I also play music. You play music. You probably have your own inner conflicts when you want to you want to bring a banger, but you don't want to have a set full of bangers. You want to create a product that would go viral, but you don't really want to work only on that. At the end, you just want something that moves your booty, and you want something that moves you. And yeah, maybe you can reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of the similarity or the a similarity I've noticed among a lot of the names you've mentioned is these are artists who have gone from more underground to then commercial, and I think it's a one directional thing.
Uh huh.
Like you can always go from underground to
Shout out
commercial,
to
but
One
then
Direction. I'm just kidding. I don't know even one song of them.
but I don't think it works in reverse. I don't know if you can go from commercial back to underground again.
No, Virgil Abloh tried it, right?
Kind of.
Yeah, so he was performing like in Kiev for a while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he played a DJ set, but he's
Yeah.
not a DJ, you know?
Yeah, but he tried, you know,
This
he played
trend
it.
of celebrities going to DJ is just Paris Hilton, you know?
Yeah, but he chose like the right location, you know, because Kiev at that time wasn't like so popular. That's like a Virgil Abloh, like head designer of I forgot what
I would
where he was,
compare
like, Off-White.
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
Or Off-White, I think. was his
Off-White was
brand.
his, yeah, but
Yeah.
that he is playing in Kiev, because for like, especially for Americans,
I
they
don't see
really
it
know
as
where
coming
Ukraine
back to
was.
the underground. I see it the same as I see Adidas doing an event in Trésor and so on. The brands have their scouts, and they understand where the scene is happening or still happening, and they just send somebody, book an event there, and then they choose just a brand rave or something. You have a trend like that in Berlin right
Really?
now. Big brands doing raves, or big brands trying to do club nights.
Yeah, there's a collab
It's
with
pathetic.
Carhartt and Tresor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carhartt and Trésor was Carhartt is still on the edge of becoming big, so it kind of feels real. And the booking was very interesting because you had, who was the DJ playing the whole
All
night
night
there?
long. Matrix Man. Oh, no.
No, not Matrix Man. Moody Man.
Moody Man.
So Moody Man was
Close
playing an
enough.
all-nighter in Trésor under the brand of Carhartt. So it's nice that you have like this patron, this resource giving you money to do an event, or doing an event where you have nice DJs, so everybody can enjoy it. But I think it has nothing to do with the underground. And also Moody Man doesn't have to do anything with the underground anymore because he's just super famous, you know. So yeah, maybe
So
we
it is
try-
a One Direction.
it is a One Direction, and I can, it's logically explainable because I don't think that the underground is a place. I don't think that the scene is a place. I think the underground is just a status of an artist, or a status of an event or a product. It's in its beginnings, and if it's good enough, it will be spoken about, and the word of mouth will make it popular. And if it makes it through the gates of the underground, it will become pop, or it will become popular, and there is no way back because you cannot make somebody unfamous.
So at some point you're leaving the underground anyway,
Yeah,
dead or alive.
the underground is like a small town, you know. You're going to play with the big boys, and of course you can. I mean, there are a lot of pop artists that kind of are like lose their momentum and maybe have to start over again. But even when they start over, they will use their resume and they will, you know. So I think the underground is just a state of mind and a state of again of an art or of a product or of an artist that is just very local and not famous yet or will never become famous, but it's like there's a reason why people say like gatekeeping of the underground, you know. There are actually like gates of popularity that the underground is kind of protecting, you know. I think it's I'm not a big fan of that. Actually, I'm not a big fan of artists of the underground saying that they want to stay underground or saying because actually what they're working on is creating art that is supposed to be on the stage and invite people to join, and the end goal of it would be probably to connect more and more people. I don't think that artists that say that they want to stay in the underground are being honest to themselves.
I think they're straight lying. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the Berghain principle to say no to make you more popular, basically.
Yes, yes,
It
yes.
feels like that.
Yes,
No?
I think there is a way for a popular artist to stay underground niche by, for example, playing in spaces that are not open to the public, the same way as Christian Baya is playing Panorama, world-renowned artist, still coming back to play for a couple of bucks in a space that is probably like a dance floor that is not for more than 100, 200 people. So, and playing a closing for 12 hours straight, you know, it's definitely not for the money. You know, so that way I think you can stay connected to the underground. Like Honey Dijon still playing Pano or
Right.
Berghain once in a while, being a huge artist or being a very famous DJ. So I think it's a one direction, but you can still, like the big J Lo said, if you don't forget where you're coming from, you know, if you don't forget that you're from the hood, I think it makes your career very real and makes your fan base really how should I say? I think
Devoted or
huh?
devoted or
Devoted
engaged.
and devoted, engaged, and different. You know, I think that some people watched play a set on a big festival and they have nothing to do with the underground and they're fans of him. And you have hard Berghain goers that are like sworn to the quality of his sound. So you have very different people supporting you, and it kind of proves that what you're doing is real. You know, that's what I think. Again, referring to Daft Punk, I think connoisseurs like their music and kind of value what they did for the music industry, and people that have no idea and just listen to radio cherish their sound. So I think for me that's art. It gives an emotion to people regardless of their musical knowledge, regardless of their backgrounds, and not only working on their serotonin and dopamine and just pleasing them with the cheeseburger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, Daft Punk, they're like geniuses. You know, not everybody can be a genius. You know.
Not everybody can be a good musician.
Yeah, you know.
Not everybody should be
And
a
as I
good
said, there is
musician.
so much DJ, so much producer.
Yeah.
You can't think that everybody can be Daft Punk. You know, and
Don't
only
you-
Daft Punk can be Daft Punk. You know.
Don't you think that only the musical geniuses deserve such a big stage?
I don't know. We live in a world where the consumption of everything is pretty high. You know, back in the day when only Mozart did music, everybody listened to Mozart, for example, and that was like because only white collar motherfuckers would listen to it in the opera, you know, and only they got access to that. You know, nowadays
yeah.
everybody has access to everything, and
Yeah.
they're listening something to their taste. You know,
Yeah.
and it's not always the Mozart or the Daft Punk.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe
so
Taylor of Us are also geniuses in marketing or in like giving you goosebumps
Probably.
with the sound or with the
Probably.
visuals and so on and so on.
Probably there's just like way more demand than all artists of the world can even serve, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Because
why
at some point you listen through everything from your favorite artist, and then you dig for more, you know. This never-ending consumption of something, you know.
Yeah.
You as a DJ you have to know it, you know. You're digging
Yeah.
for music for a set, listening through hundreds of tracks, you know, and
Yeah.
sometimes you get sick of them, you know,
Yeah.
and you like burning through them like it's cheeseburgers, maybe, and maybe it's, you know, maybe it's some more sustainable
What?
stuff, you know. Well,
and
not.
that
Yeah, I
consumption
feel me?
is why
feel
a
you.
lot of artists need to also reinvent themselves
Yeah.
because there's so many DJs that just rely on this like legend status, and then
Yeah.
you go to see them and it's not that legendary
Yeah.
anymore, and there needs to be a reason, especially for the youth, to give a fuck. Like why should I care about you other than let's just say, for example, if you were like a Berghain resident 15 years ago
Yeah.
and you're not anymore, like you have to analyze what the market wants if you want to stay relevant.
Yeah, I think that's an important part that many old DJs, as you mentioned, are like kind of missing. They're like, oh, I don't want to do social media. I'm not a content creator. I'm an artist, you know. But actually, the flow of art and the stage of art right now is also partially there. So you can share your art on these platforms. It's like being, I don't know, like the year is 1800 or like 1700, and newspaper was just invented, and you're like, I don't want anybody to talk about me in the newspapers.
I'm on the ground.
Yeah. You know, do you want people to visit your like gallery in the village? Then you probably have to use the newspaper for that.
Yeah, I mean, like try and start a business or like let's say a restaurant and don't use Yelp or Google Maps and see if anyone's gonna come check your food out. It's possible, but it's
Yeah.
gonna be very rare. You're gonna have to rely on word of mouth, which is not
No.
easy to get by on. These
Yeah.
days.
It makes it true though, but
True to what? To like suffer.
yeah, I mean, like, there's like all this Kantian thing, doing something for the sake of doing it, which
Yeah.
makes it pure,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
but,
It's very purist.
But
Yeah,
it doesn't put food on the table.
yeah, sure. Obviously,
There's this Swedish guy or like Nordic guy, I think Norway or Sweden, like a restaurant that you have to like really go through something to get there, like bus, train, cars, skiing. You know, you have to. Yeah, people-
Acid.
Acid? You have to take acid to go there. Okay, wow. So, but the
Transcend.
restaurant, the restaurant exists and it
Okay,
lives, and
yeah.
it's like fine dining on the highest level, and people are. At the end, it's probably word of mouth, but I'm pretty sure that there was a plan and a strategy of promoting it and
Yeah, sure.
bringing that into word of mouth.
Sure. That's the problem, like, of this whole commercialization, if we can say,
What?
Like, that you need to earn money at the end of the day. You want to
Yeah.
be an artist, you need to earn money. And this
Yeah.
purest way that I just talked about is, like, not an option anymore.
Yeah.
But maybe it is for some people, for some privileged people. And they
Yeah.
they do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of them, but
I-
it's
I'm-
capitalism.
I'm really an optimist, exactly. Like regarding capitalism, I'm an optimist, and I really hope that that inflation and like the amount of money that is just getting bigger and bigger in terms of like just cash flowing, I think it will be at the end good for art because you would have more people wanting to spend more on their entertainment, and this will give artists a more stable kind of ground to work with, you know. So if we want to be specific, gentrification in Berlin, we've talked about it in the last episode. I think that in some cases, gentrification will do good to artists because the gentrifiers really want to have cultural centers in spaces or in places, hoods that are not that popular yet. And they know that this way they can bring the cool kids and the cool people, and they can create like kind of movement in these neighborhoods, which will bring probably later families and kind of motorizing life with art. Yeah. So
On that note, how have you, since you've been in Berlin, how have you noticed the techno scene and techno tourism evolve over time?
For me, it's as I see, it's the same. Always there was a lot of tourists here, still is, and there's a lot of Germans also raving and students. There's like different communities. Most of the students, for example, like who go to university, they're hating on the tourists. I don't know why, but that's the vibe from them, because like they're gentrifying, and the rest is just like as it always been. I don't know. What's your opinion?
yeah, so I think the shifts that I see since 2008 when I came here till today are first of all musical. There
Yeah,
is some
okay.
musical shift in terms of what is being played in most of the clubs. But again, this probably happens all over the world. I think Berlin has many reasons to attract tourists. Not only clubs. The clubs here are definitely a magnet for people to come. Like techno or the club culture or the club scene is definitely a magnet for a lot of people. But you have millions and millions of people coming here that don't really go out at night.
Yeah, they go to brothels.
they go to brothels, and they also go to visit like the classic spots, because Berlin has a huge history actually. Berlin, which which actually exactly explains why the underground scene here, or the world of techno or the electronic music, kind of grew up here, as in other places in the world as well. Yeah, Detroit, and not dissing Frankfurt and Detroit in any way, but Berlin has a very rich history of being in the middle of stuff. I always refer to the fact that the first stoplight was built in Berlin, Potsdamer Platz. You have the first like real crossroads,
Oh,
which had a lot of traffic, which actually brought people to think, oh, okay, we probably need a stoplight. So it really kind of embodies the fact that Berlin is geographically, for Europe and the world, a crossroads, a middle of something happening, and all these world trends and conflicts of ideology, they all kind of met here. So you had a live scene here in the 20s of the last century. You had a lot of cabarets, and you had a lot of underground queer movements, and so on and so on. There was always a lot of freedom here, which was kind of almost destroyed by what happened 39 till 45, and maybe longer. And you will always have that kind of action here, because also the history of like the Soviets against the Americans, and the French and the Brits here during all of these years till the wall fell. It all kind of brought the people to this sense of, hey, let us go, we want to be free, of these kind of contrasts. And yeah, I think these multiple contrasts brought us to a stage where Berlin has this real essence of freedom, and this going against the system, against the man, against against the norms of society. And this attracts people. Some of the tourists here don't really even understand why they're coming to this city. I didn't realize why was so attracted to this city when I saw it first when I was like 15 and came back here after school. It took me like 10 years of living here to really understand what I love about this place. And I think the spaces that we have here, Berghain as its final boss, are really embodying this freedom, really embodying this crossroads, this train station where people from all over the world kind of meet and connect through music and dance, but also other kinds of art and mediums. I think there's a lot of art going on in Berlin in general. Shout out to our Art Week project coming out in 2 weeks from now. We're going to have a special art project curated by the Techno Team, where we actually talk about the connection between art and nightlife. It's going to be called Resonance, which means the movement of sound. And we're going to create a dance performance that is going to flow into an installation of light and sound, which will be this immersive club experience that people can visit all week long. And we're going to turn this immersive club experience into a real rave at the end of that week. So you're all invited.
Dates?
The dates are the 11th till the 15th of September. And on the night between the 14th and the 15th, the installation is going to become a real rave on 2 dance floors, more techno-ish and more house-ish, with some local artists and some artists coming from outside of Berlin, Stuttgart.
Where?
Where? It's really becoming a commercial. I like that.
It is a
There
commercial.
wasn't planned. So the thingy, yeah, our Art Week project, Resonance, is going to take place at Mahala, which is a beautiful space in the eastern part of town. Used to be an industrial hall from the 19th century, built in French-style architecture, and it has been an active art space for over the last 4 years. And it's developing like a commune. People are like working there all day long, volunteering, doing stuff, creating stuff. And we were invited to curate a part of this Art Week exhibition. So yeah, excited, looking forward for that. A little bit stressed because there's a lot to do, but we're gonna make it happen.
We waiting for ya.
Yeah. So coming back to our.
Well, speaking of dance, actually,
yeah.
I gotta ask you as a professional dancer, do you prefer dancing to techno or to house?
Do I? Okay, it's like when I was when I was dancing professionally, people used to ask me what my favorite dance was.
I just asked this
He
week.
asked me
This
this
week I asked
recently.
it.
Yeah, and it's first of all, it's impossible to answer. If you're a, I mean, everybody's a dancer to me. Yeah, I don't differentiate people that are professionally dancer or just dancing for
Uh-huh.
their fun. I think every human being is a dancer because they are able to conduct sound through their bodies. But if you dance professionally and you really do it like it's your bread, it's your passion, it's what you do daily, you're not allowed to prefer dances. You're not allowed to say this is better than this or this I feel better than. Of course, you can have your moments and you can say this piece of music is more. I'm resonating with that more than this. But I think if you're really passionate about moving to sound, you will have your moment to house. You will have like this vocal kind of making you cry, and while you shake your booty, and at the same time, you could let go to a minimal kind of techno track with just a very simplistic kick and not even maybe a hint of a hi hat, and the rest of it will happen in your mind. So I think it's really specific to a moment because I would have moments where I go down to Berghain and I'm like I'm bored, and I would go up to Pano and I'm like this is overwhelming. On the other hand, I will have moments where I'm like, I don't want to leave Pano. I'm sweating and everybody is on the floor and it feels really real. And on the other hand, I will have moments in Berghain where I'm almost fucking praying and looking at just staring at one point or even with my eyes closed and just moving metronomically on spot, doing nothing, just disappearing into the beat for hours. So yeah, I think both have their advantages to dance to. I think it's easier to reach a higher state of mind, a trance state of mind in Berghain or to techno. I think it's easier to reach a higher state of mind on techno, definitely. And I think it's easier to break ice between people on the dance floor with house because very often like people on a techno dance floor they need some time to let go and to see the people around them and to feel comfortable with them, but when it's housey and it's more kind of filled with light and with positive vocals and major chords, it's easier for people to smile, and if you're smiling it's easier to again to break the ice. So each has their own kind of advantages. I would prefer to pray on my own or have a mating dance to techno, and I would prefer to have a group experience where I'm just with my friends and just celebrating life and enjoying the moment to house,
Uh-huh.
probably.
I just noticed this time that it's way easier to dance to house. I mean, like in terms of tempo. It's just like we did like a solid session back and then we get into Panorama Bar and was like, okay, this is like super chill. It almost feels like I'm sat down and chilled like for a while.
I don't want to be the guy quoting himself, but I would quote myself now and say that house is more or less your comfort zone.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the comments said house is not 120, it's 130, and some people said that your comfort zone is not 120 because your heart beats at 80. Well, your heart beats at 60 to 80, but if you dance to 120, it kind of gives you the two-step you want to do, feeling comfortably and chilling.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
have to
yeah.
really sweat to house. You could and should sweat to house, but if you want to just listen to music and just move in a very basic way, I think house is definitely your
Yeah,
comfort zone.
that's what I felt like this weekend because Berghain was really sweaty and Panorama was just for chill, just coming
Yeah,
down a bit, having a
yeah,
rest and then you can proceed.
I had images coming to my mind when you were describing it. I mean, yeah, if you want more of like a tribal experience, you want like 140 to 145 BPM techno, more repetitive stuff, and just when I think of it, everyone is pretty much moving in the same way.
yeah.
And then when you think more of like a house party, 120 to 130 BPM, everyone's dancing in their own ways, and there's more space and there's more elements to dance to. You might want to dance to, let's say, uh, the toms or some bongos, versus with techno, the faster it is, like the more you just stick to the kick drum.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah, if you want to get tribal primal, techno would be probably the choice. You can also get private and tribal to house, but because there is so much happening there and so much storyline, actually, people, I think I would rather like look at everybody and enjoy the moment, have my drink in the air and whatever.
It's
you
just
know.
less hypnotic, right? So
It's probably
yeah.
less hypnotic, I would say. Yeah, I think, yeah. I think in different cultures there are different kind of traditional dances that all kind of try to bring you into an ecstatic feeling or state of mind. You have some like Iranian traditional dances where the men just spin and on spot. You know, they have these dresses and they kind of create that. What?
Not with a towel.
No, this is Kurdish.
I love the videos with a towel.
The one where they go in a row and then they fall. You know that one? No, that's what.
There's
that's
Nizar.
almost
There's one guy. He's called Nizar Jackson. You know, shout outs to him.
so you gotta put his.
Yeah, I will.
Put a square with Nizar Jackson dancing here. Okay.
Yeah, I will.
What I meant was this traditional Iranian dance where the men just spin on one spot for like sometimes hours, and at the beginning I was like, how is this even?
Dervish?
Der-
Whirling dervish?
Yeah, we're only familiar with the dervish, but the dervish is that. Yeah,
That's a
you're right.
dance.
Yeah, the
Okay.
dervish. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right. So yeah, as a dancer, you watch it and you're like, what the fuck? I can do maybe like 3 pirouettes and then that's it. And the guy is like spinning for hours.
It's
And
like
I
a
think
Beyblade.
what they're reaching there is really a higher state of mind. He's like disconnecting from his body and he's just repeating the same thing. And I felt this a couple of years ago while dancing to techno, and I found my groove where I felt so comfortable that I could stop thinking about like anything or about everything. You know, I was moving from one leg to another, and I found this kind of an infinite movement in my hips that kind of gave me, instead of being very stuck and just marching, it gave me an infinite groove and this ongoing wave. It sent me to places, and even without consumption, you know, with consumption, of course, it's easier to slip into other worlds or slip into other states of mind. But I was more or less sober there, and more or less, and I tried to recreate that moment again, and I could come back to that groove, to that 8-ish kind of feeling where my spine was moving in an endless wave, and it was amazing because my mind disconnected from my feet, and also by doing that it disconnected from pain and disconnected from daily problems and stuff. You know, some people just stand on nails to do that. You know, they experience that pain till they have to disconnect from it. And I, in that dance, it was actually in the first time I felt it was I think in the same week where I stood on nails for the first time. I had this yoga session in Kiev, and then we went to the club 2 days later, and I found this groove and I disconnected, and it sent me really to like, I felt like I'm on a different layer of understanding, and I don't have to think of my body, but my body's like the motor that is just, I'm on a boat and my body is like the motor that moves me forward. You know, I didn't have to think about it. So yeah, probably techno. I mean, yeah. There's a video we're gonna publish tomorrow, like a reel, where I say that just techno gives you the freedom of interpretation, and that's why it's easier to pray with. I think, because I do think this whole ritual is very, very similar to what we see as prayer, especially if we all summon there and we look at one spot and we kind of, you know, we start after being really high, you start thanking somebody, something for everything you have. You're starting to be grateful, or you're starting to reflect. You never thank?
No.
You never thank? You're never grateful when you dance?
I'm never grateful at all.
What a dark person.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem. I take everything for granted.
Wow.
I think I deserve
A nihilist.
I think I deserve it.
You think you deserve it?
Yeah.
It's also being grateful, no?
I don't know. It's a pretty arrogant and elitist thing to say, but I'm be honest, okay?
Yeah.
So that's
why do you deserve it?
Because I think I worked for it.
Okay.
You know?
So you're grateful for the results of your hard work, no?
I guess you can say it like this, but it doesn't. It's the feeling is not gratefulness.
Oh, you like a religious turnover here.
Nice.
It's a contrast thing here.
Do you see your dance ritual while dancing to whatever? It should be like house, techno, whatever. But do you sometimes think or compare it with a prayer? You being on a rave, DJing or dancing to a DJ?
Um, I would more compare it to. I mean, yeah, in a way, I would. The wording I would use is more like meditation and movement.
Yeah.
And if you're just doing sitting meditation, thoughts come up, and you're supposed to observe them and non-judgmentally discard them or let them pass.
Yeah.
I have the same experience when I'm dancing.
Yeah.
Thoughts come to me, and sometimes I'm like, "Oh, this asshole keeps bumping me," and then I'm like, "You know what? Like, they're they're
Go
not
in
they,
peace, asshole.
they don't mean it, or if they do, it's nothing personal. This person doesn't know me."
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes there's revelations like the one you described, but um, it's also easy to try and chase that. And I think the most important reminder is like kind of just don't forget to go home. Like
Yeah.
you can't always have
Yeah.
that. You sometimes have most of the time you have like the daily grind experience, and then sometimes you get to peek above the horizon, I guess.
That's good.
So we need to wrap it up. Do you have one last question, or we want to finish on the note? Do you have a question?
I actually do. When are you playing next time?
When am I DJing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm DJing September 28th. It's for a party I'm a resident for. It's work and 6 a.m. And
How's it called?
work. So it's work, but
Yeah.
it's a collaborative party between.
Work with the E?
No, with the with the no.
Work?
Work.
It's a collaborative.
Work. Instead of an O, you take an E.
Ah, okay. What's the joke?
Because it's like work.
Ah, okay.
It's a
Ah, okay.
collaborative party between 6 a.m. and Synthetic Minds, and this is my third date playing for them this year as a resident. Also on the bill, we have Gia, the founder of 6 a.m., and Kiki from the Netherlands is the headliner.
Key/key?
Key/key. She's
Amazing
playing a 3-hour set, and I'm gonna be closing. So
Wow.
this will be like my first proper closing set where like
Unlimited hours? Or
It's LA. Come on.
It's LA, 2 hours.
It's only 6 a.m.
a generous 2-hour closing.
Okay.
And so I'm just gonna kind of come out the gate. No, just play the intense stuff. And what's up in the air is, do I want to keep it intense, or do I kind of want to bring people back down to earth before we finish the set?
Yeah. I closed when we had our label night at in Tresor. I had to close, and I was also wondering, do I want to because the girl playing before me was on the edge of industrial, so I started industrially, but like 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, I shifted to something that would hug the people, because you want them to stay on their feet, but you want to really give them positive feelings and good reasons to stay. It's not about like training them and like you gotta stay on your feet, but it's about like maybe giving them some curiosity and just positive feelings that would keep them going. And
That's a good way to put it, and that is helpful. I think for me, I feel this pressure. We'll just say it's not really like verbalized by people, but I feel this pressure in LA where people want you to go harder.
Yeah.
Especially because the
Time
parties
is ticking.
The time
yeah.
is
the
ticking.
time's ticking. The parties are shorter.
Yeah.
But I also kind of pride myself on doing like music education. So I also want to give people that experience of like, okay, we did the hard bit. Now it's my turn, and we're gonna do some more emotional wind down music for like the, let's say, last half hour or so. So it wasn't just us coming in like dancing our asses off. There was like kind of a feel good moment to send people off with.
Nice. Cool. No, I think it's cool that you're playing after Kiki. You have like serious artists in the lineup. It kind of sets the mode and the vibe to also for the crowd to be on the right mode. Because sometimes if you play with the other people that are like not that serious, you might not look that serious as
Right,
well. I think
right,
I had that experience like from like the sport I did before. If your competition is, then you're seen with the same eyes. But when the stage is serious, everybody is like more open and kind of hungry to. I think also the crowd that would come to her set is also kind of connoisseurish.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kiki's good.
I
Kiki's
like
very
Kiki a
good.
lot, man.
Yeah, she kicks you. So it was a pleasure. Thank
Same.
you for coming and doing this with us. Hopefully maybe another one here in Berlin or in LA. Let's
Yeah,
see how
that'd be
things go.
cool.
Yeah, can wait
If
for
you're
that one.
interested in us coming to LA, then pay our flights.
And our stays.
And our stays. Maybe we
our-
can stay at Jonathan's place. He invited us to stay. He said he has a nice view from his.
Shout out
Okay.
to Jonathan.
Shout out to Jonathan for sharing.
JD.
For sharing a lot of his wisdom and witchcraft. Go. Thanks, Alex. See you soon.
Subscribe, like, and notification button.